Here's a question. How many people do you know that have been to all seven continents? Here's the next question. How many people do you know that have been to all seven continents twice? And have been to all seven continents in 1 year? It's a great question. Mathematically, there's really no answer. There's no numbers that I have found in my research for how many people have been to all seven continents. In all likelihood, you maybe know one person or you maybe don't know anybody, much less anyone that's done it twice. We haven't been before. Hi, I'm Kaylin. I am one of those people that has been to all seven continents twice. Second time I did all seven continents in 1 year. I've been to 30 countries and counting. I love to travel, always have. It's been a part of my life and will never not be a part of my life. So you're probably wondering, seven continents once, but then twice and in 1 year. Don't ask me why. I don't know how this happened. It was something I wanted to do. I really never imagined that it was going to happen for a second time. The first time I knew it was going to happen. It was a dream of mine that I refused to not catch. It's one thing to chase a dream. It's a whole other thing to catch it. When I finally did achieve it, I hadn't achieved it yet. I was in Antarctica, which was my sixth continent, and I knew that seven was so, so close. And I was on a ship amongst other people who were my age, that were world travelers, that have been to more countries than I have. For some of them, it was their seventh continent. And for some of them, it was their seventh continent, and they had done it in 1 year. And I wouldn't say I was jealous. I was definitely envious of them. It was something that I had never considered as a possibility for me. It was something I thought, wow, I would love to be able to say that too, but I don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to look like logistically. It's not an easy thing to do. Financially, it's not an easy thing to do. I was in a completely different place in my life at the time. And I just thought, if I ever get the opportunity to do it, I'm going to chase it. If I don't, that's great too. I know I still need to get to seven, so let's do that first. Unbeknownst to me, I think within 5 weeks of stepping foot back in Argentina from Antarctica, I was crossing off my seventh continent when I landed in Cairo, Egypt on January 13th, 2023. I have my seven balloon actually behind the camera here. It's up on my wall. Yes, I am that dork. I took photos in front of the pyramids with a blow up seven balloon and was definitely being talked about by other people that were there seeing the pyramids, including some people who were French. And I know they didn't know that I spoke French. And so I know everything they said. And I tried not to laugh because they were making fun of me. And I really thought about turning around to say, hey, it's my seventh continent. And yes, it's a seven balloon in French, and decided just let it go. It's one of my fun stories from that day, and of finally making that milestone of hitting seven continents. And at the time, I had no idea I was going to do it again. Seven continents once was a huge thing for me. Doing it twice, whew, that was a dream. And this poor deflated balloon here. This is actually my balloon from my seventh continent for the second time, which happened this July 7th, 2025, when I returned to Australia for the second time. And it also was my 20-year anniversary of starting my international overseas travels. So that balloon's a little more sad. I think I popped or broke the valve, so it doesn't really inflate anymore, which is a bummer, but I still have it. It's one of those funny little dollar store mementos that I have. So how did seven for the second time happen? What is that like? I think I'm still processing what it's like. I actually don't really know how it all happened. It was something that was clearly meant to be. It started with a trip back to Asia for the first time in 18 years. Last November, I had the opportunity to go to Thailand with a mastermind group, hi cohort 2, because I know you're watching. So that kicked off this crazy tour. I did it within 9 months, depending on how you wanna count it. I forget the exact number of days, that it took. Pardon me, my little helper here is, now playing with the balloon that I'd rather her toes didn't get in it. Okay, back to the regularly scheduled programming. So yeah, so I got to go to Thailand, and then I got to see some friends in Malaysia after. It was wonderful to return to Asia for the first time since 2006. And from there, everything really in my life just started rolling. About 6 months, maybe a little more prior to the opportunity to go to Asia, I had the opportunity to return to Antarctica and this time cross the Antarctic Circle. And when that opportunity came around, I didn't question it. I booked it. So then Asia came around, and then I knew I was going to be in Europe in January, and I had some extra time, and I thought, okay, well, I'm really close to Africa. Let's see if I can do a weekend trip to Africa, because now I'm only going to be missing Australia. And that's about the time it dawned on me that if everything went right, which as a traveler, if you've done this once or twice, you know the likelihood of everything going right is not always the best. So it dawned on me that if I put a trip to Australia on my calendar, within, the year from November, that I would accomplish all 7 continents again and within 1 year. And that I also had the opportunity to cross off 7 for the second time on my 20th anniversary of the last time that I was in Australia. And I said, I got nothing to lose. I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to figure it out. And I booked it. So it all went according to plans, some ways, somehow. I think, it takes, as I wrote on my Instagram, it takes a messed up cocktail of stubborn and persistence and dedication and patience and a belief that it's gonna work out, that you can figure it out, and that that everything's gonna be okay. And it was for me. I made it to Europe. I ended up going down to Africa. I went to Morocco with a friend of mine and spent a long weekend in Marrakesh. It was absolutely wonderful. I really hope I get to go back. Um, don't mind my little helper as she runs by if you hear her in the background. Um, if you haven't met her, I have 2 kitties. But the one that you'll see on these videos, her name is Munch. She's my tabby, and she's just my little helper. She's totally social and loves to play fetch. So right now she has the zoomies. She's running by. So I apologize for her in the background. But all that to be said, so I got to Africa. Then I actually flew straight from Europe down to South America, which was continent number 5 for the second time again. Hopped on the ship down to Antarctica, which was probably the most stressful continent out of this whole thing for me, because I knew from my first expedition that there are no guarantees when it comes to Antarctica. There is always the possibility that the ship never leaves port from Ushuaia. Fortunately, we did. We had a great crossing on the Drake. We barely made it below the Antarctic Circle, but fortunately, we were able to do that. And on our very last day, before we turned back to go to Ushuaia, we landed on the continent, which was huge for me. We had landed on some of the surrounding islands leading up to that day, but for me, I really needed to land on the mainland, the biggest portion of the continent, because for me, that would make it feel like I had been to all 7 continents again. And we were able to do that. It was, I want to say it was Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's to me. I was able to set foot on Antarctica's mainland again on the peninsula, returned back to South America, went home for a couple months. I'm based in California. And then I was able to cross off 7 in Australia on my 20th anniversary of having been there the first time. And it was something else. I don't know. It's hard to describe that feeling. It was accomplishment. It was something that I don't think even today I believe happened. It takes a lot for me to process the travels and the things that have gone on. I've had a wild past 6 months. I'll talk about it in some other videos. Catch everybody up because life obviously has a lot of facets. It's not just all about travel. But for me, going to 7 continents for the second time was indescribable. I think I really don't know what to say about it. Logistically, it was tough at times. I went to, let me think, European, African, South American, and Antarctica. I went to 4 continents within about 5 weeks of each other. I flew from California to London, back down to Africa, and then back up to Europe, down to South America, Antarctica, South America, back to Europe to pick up my bag. It was a good idea at the time, and then all the way back to California. So that logistically was not easy. It was another one of those situations where I was sitting there saying, please, please, please let everything go correct. Everything fortunately did. I highly recommend when you're traveling, if you're able to be patient with it, book yourself long layovers. I'm so glad I had a long layover. I was stuck on the tarmac in New York for 2 hours waiting to be de-iced because I had a long layover in Buenos Aires. I made my connecting flight. I did have to change airports in Buenos Aires as well. If you know anything about Buenos Aires traffic, it cannot be a good thing. Some days it works in your favor, some days it doesn't. Everything went well for me. So yeah, the logistics can be hard, and it takes a lot to do it. I'm glad I did it. I would love to teach people how to do it. If anybody has questions on how to do it, drop a comment. We'll be in contact. I believe there's a somewhere on my web page. There's a web somewhere on my site. It's linked. I'll drop the link if I can find it. You can book a call with me. I love to talk travel. I've been there, done that, done this for 20 years. It's changed a lot. I've been around the block. Been around the world twice, which is really cool to say. My little claim to fame. I've been to all 7 continents twice. So if you ever want to chat about it, drop a comment or get on my calendar. And I'd love to help you out. Love to, see if maybe I can help you not only chase your dream, but catch your dream as well. So yeah, see y'all in the next video. Bye.